All right, so I just want to do a quick intro because I discovered a few things while searching on the internet recently, and this is why I'm creating this vlog. So the first thing is I will be flying um, on a 16-hour flight shortly, and I was doing some research. You do Seat Guru, and you check which is the best seat to have, and I'm checking constantly to see if anyone's going to be sitting next to me. So far, it doesn't look like anyone is, but you never know. And then I was just looking to see if there were any trips, if anyone had done any like video blogs on this particular trip, because there's nowhere that says exactly how many times you get fed, how often you get fed, or the times that you get fed. Are you fed breakfast? Are you fed lunch? Because the thing is, the flight I'm going on is LaGuardia to Chicago. I've got a 6-hour layover, and then Chicago to Hong Kong. And so that long trip is, I think it's 15 hours and 50 minutes is flight time. But, wheels up, wheels down is a different thing. But nowhere on, and I'm flying with United, nowhere on their site does it say exactly sort of how often you get fed. And is it a meal? Is it a snack? They just say you will get fed. Actually, all it says is lunch. So that's interesting in itself. And so I know like a different airline, for example, Asiana, they specifically say at this hour you get fed this, at this hour you get fed that. And I know when I've flown with them before, you get menus. I'm not expecting that from United. But at the same time, it's really nice to know what sort of time zone they're thinking about, because my flight leaves at 1:15 p.m. Chicago time, so Central Standard Time, and I end up in Hong Kong at 7:30ish. Previously, I've flown a similar flight, and they've served us breakfast before. I mean, it's a meal, but it's considered to be breakfast because it's like congé before you land, and so that's really disorientating. And the idea is when you travel is to try and adjust yourself as quickly as possible to the time zone that you are going to be in. So I'm curious to see what happens on this flight. The other thing I noticed was that a lot of people are very much like, 16 hours, sleep as much as you can. But at the same time, I'm in economy. Actually, I'm going to be in economy plus, so not quite economy. But deep vein thrombosis is a thing. So do I try and sleep for 15 hours or 8 hours? Or what is the best thing to do? What am I going to try and do? So I noticed there wasn't any vlogs. Anything on the route that I'm going on, which is interesting because it's a very popular route for United and has been going for a while. So I decided to do this. And the reason why I'm taking this particular flight is because I got a flight for about $482, and it was from LaGuardia to Chicago, O'Hare, with 6-hour layover, and then on to Hong Kong, and then from Hong Kong to San Francisco, and San Francisco to Vancouver for $481. That's like a great thing. I'm doing other things while in Asia, but just this flight was the core of everything else that I had to sort of get around. And so speaking of other things that are around this trip, and this is the intro to the entire trip that I will do in separate videos, is there's positioning flights because I don't live in New York. And so I need to make sure that I get a positioning flight to make sure that I'm going to be in New York in enough time. And so that's another thing that I had to do. And while I'm not going to be staying in Hong Kong that long, I'm actually going to Singapore. And so I had to do like a return flight and a positioning flight to get to Hong Kong in time. So if anyone wants to put down what I should do during the 16 hours, or maybe they'd like me to video something in those 16 hours, I'd be happy to oblige. Also, the other thing that I noticed is packing apps. Packing apps are not designed for you to go to multiple cities. They're very much like, where's your destination? And they assume it's one place. Whereas over this entire trip, I'm going to New York. I'm going to Hong Kong. I'm going to Singapore. I'm going to San Francisco. I'm going to Vancouver. I'm then going to be in a place in the middle of nowhere, Canada. And then I'm coming back to the States. And so there's no packing app that really does that. And Android just has sucky apps. I've just downloaded 3 that I'm actually going to try out, and maybe I'll do a video on them to see what the deal is. Because for me, it's not just one packing that I have to do. I have to pack so I can easily get to things for my layover. I have to pack so that while I'm in New York for a couple of days that I have clothes, but I'm not disrupting my entire suitcase. So, and obviously how you pack for a short flight, a short-ish flight. Admit the flight to get to LaGuardia is going to be like a 5-hour flight. It's way different to how I would pack my carry-on for the 16-hour flight. So I need different sort of lists for that. So this is going to be really interesting. I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, looking forward to sharing this with you.